Brian Sobel joins us now with some perspective on what this means come September 14th on Election Day. Thank you for joining us so much, Brian. First, the poll shows there's not enough support to remove Governor Newsom, but at this time at least. But is the closeness of this poll a cause for concern for the governor?
Well, I'm sure it's causing concern in the Newsom camp because the numbers have changed. They have gone up for recall by about 5 points in the last 4 months, 5 months. But at the end of the day, the field is so large, over 40 candidates. One would expect that Newsom is still in good shape. But we have to remember that it's a two-part question, Andre. One is, do you vote to recall the governor? That's one item. And then if you do choose to recall the governor, who is it you would select to replace him? So the recall folks who are against Newsom are looking at trying to drive down the Newsom popularity on the first question as to whether you're going to recall him. Obviously, Newsom and his folks are working hard to make sure that they can shore up all of his support to make sure that the first question is answered, that people do not want to recall Governor Gavin Newsom.
All right, so Brian, backers of the recall cite high taxes, ongoing homeless crisis as reasons for their move here. But even if the governor wins, does this whole recall process make it difficult for him in 2022 when he goes to campaign again for governor?
Well, that's where I thought the poll was quite shocking. On the question of whether in 2022, should he survive the recall, would you vote for Newsom or somebody else? The answer was that 58% of the respondents were interested in looking at a different candidate. That's in 2022. But, all these things, Andre, as we know, are timing issues. The governor has a whole lot of time to state his case before 22. But right now, his focus entirely has to be on obviously not being recalled. There's millions of dollars at stake here and millions of dollars being spent. We're seeing a lot of advertisements already on this. So,
Brian, going back to what you just said a minute ago, then, is this recall effort, it's punching a hole in perhaps Governor Newsom's popularity? Is it doing its job? Even if he is not recalled, does it damage him for next year? Is that what perhaps the goal of all of this was?
I don't know what the goal was, but it does have an effect on 22, because at the end of the day, issues are being surfaced, like the pandemic, the handling of the pandemic, homelessness, crime in California, which is spiking, and other issues that the governor is dealing with. These are being highlighted well before the election in 22 as part of this recall. If he doesn't get nipped in the recall, yes, he's got, Andre, an issue with moving forward beyond the recall and restating his positive case to the people of California. So there is a lot at stake here right now as we ramp up to the recall election in September 14th.
Yeah, quite a bit. And real quickly here, we only have a couple of seconds left. The poll also found that one last-minute candidate to jump into the recall effort is gaining some momentum here. Tell us who that is and what is his appeal.
Well, one of the people that jumped in late, and it was done by court order, was Larry Elder. And Larry Elder is a very popular commentator, Republican, but has crossover appeal to a lot of people. 69 years old and a very, very bright guy. He could be a contender because what has been lacking, Andre, in this recall effort is anybody you would vote for other than the governor, who you think could lead the state of California.
All right. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, and even what happens in the recall and what happens next year during the actual run in 2022.
Absolutely.
KTV political analyst Brian Sobel, thank you so much for your insight today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right.